I'm Devorah Wallen, and I'd like to share my tea for two, my Torah thought, for 2 minutes, more or less. This week is Parshas Emor, which means speak to the Kohanim about the special laws of ritual defilement. Our Parsha also speaks about Shabbos and the holidays, including Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot, as well as the commandment to count the Omer. Interestingly, Omer and Shavuos are mentioned in this Parsha, and we are currently involved in the counting of the Omer, which leads to Shavuos on the 50th day. Sephirah has many linguistically related words with meanings such as counting, shining, improving, and even its cognate, sapphire. During Sephiras HaOmer, the 7 weeks times 7 days, the Omer offering consisted of barley, which was considered animal fodder, not for human consumption. Even though today we don't give that offering, we count the Omer and meditate on the 49 incremental growth steps as we tame and train our animal soul toward refinement and altruism. Each day is a day of self-reflection and self-improvement, focusing on a combination of the 7 emotional qualities times each of the 7 days of the week. Thus, by the last day, hopefully, we will have improved our character to be worthy of receiving the Torah, more refined and reshined. What connects the dots in our Parsha with our current events? The Or Chaim HaKodesh seems to be able to bring it all together using the number 7. I will quote his commentary. Perhaps the fact that the Torah here deals with the commandments whose common denominator is the number 7, that is, 7 days of Passover, 7 days of Tabernacles, the New Year, and Day of Atonement, which occur on the 7th month, prompted the Torah to add laws about the 7-armed candlestick. The procedures involving the table also have a mystical dimension involving the number 7. Seeing the Torah speaks about 2 rows of 6 breads. When you add the table itself to the respective rows of 6 showbreads, you have the number 7. The number 7 is always considered as completing a cycle. You also had the legislation of the Omer in this portion. That commandment also involved the counting of 7 times 7 days, that is 7 weeks. You have a reference to the commandment of the Sabbath, another commandment which features the number 7. We may therefore assume that the Torah was interested in mentioning all the commandments featuring the number 7 in one portion. Hopefully, not only during these weeks of Sphira, but also during the weeks of COVID and quarantine, we have grown introspectively as well as we needed to go literally inside. Our world is not the same as it was about a year plus ago. Many Torah scholars consider our strange times as the birth pangs of Mashiach. Kabbalah teaches that the 7th millennium corresponds to Shabbos, a time of rest, health and healing, wealth, growth, and world peace. Hopefully, we will be able to show our kindness to one another, as the famous verse from Psalm states, Hine ma tovu ma noyim, how good and pleasant it is that brethren should dwell together. May we collectively, finally, learn from our inner lessons and be worthy of the time the Rambam refers to at the end of the Laws of Kings in his Mishnah Torah, describing the imminent Messianic era. And he says, at that time, there will be no famines and no wars, no envy and no competition, for the good will be very pervasive. All the delicacies will be as readily available as is the dust. The world will be filled with very wise people who will understand the deep and previously concealed matters. They will then achieve knowledge of the Creator to as high a degree as humanly possible, as it says, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of God as the waters cover the sea.